Oh, hi, friends. Welcome back. Hope your new year was fantastic. Hope you got everything you wanted from the big guy. And hopefully you're ready for a great 2025. We got a little What's in the Bag special this week, some general chit chat. It's just the four of us. I will see you on the other side. And hopefully you enjoy what we got for you. Stay to the very end for a nice little outtake that I threw in there. You're welcome, Brian. Someday we'll get over the fact that you're diminutive. But in the meantime, enjoy, and I'll see you on the flip side. All right, bye.
Pull my 3 shafts out and show them.
Right.
No one wants to see your shaft, Brian.
It's really true.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the BogeyBall Society podcast. This is episode 6. How we doing, fellas?
We're doing great.
Great. You answer the question, then you take the drink. Just, in case you're wondering how
That's
this
what
goes.
I got you. I started, and then I stopped.
Okay.
I answered, and then I drank.
And
then I confused everybody else.
For everybody to finish.
Yeah. A drink of what, Matt? What are you drinking?
This is fake Diet Coke. It's $3.50 for 12 cans instead of $7.50 for 12 cans, and I am very cheap. As we talk more about golf clubs and buying, you will find out over the course of this podcast. I am very cheap, so I drink cheap Diet Coke with Evan Williams, which is a cheap bourbon. So it's a cheap drink.
My brother works for Pepsi. I can probably get you like a family discount or something.
Oh God, Pepsi. It's my favorite. It's my favorite question when I go to a restaurant and I ask for a Diet Coke and they say I only have Diet Pepsi, and then I always go, oh, just to watch the poor server's face, like, because they always apologize. Is it okay? Of course it's okay. I don't care. I just don't want the
You should
sugar.
try that sometime. Try that sometime.
I do it.
No, that simply won't do.
No, I literally do it every time. I'm not kidding. It's my go-to joke, and they always look scared, like, oh, I've offended him, and then I go, no, I don't care. It's fine. Just bring the brown liquid. That's fine.
Jason, do you have an adult beverage cooking tonight?
I do not. If anyone can recall a recent conversation, I have Spindrift tonight.
Yes.
Costco.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Very fancy.
And I am great. It is Victory Monday. Go Pack Go.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
can't wait for them
wish
to
you would
lose.
stop doing that.
Oh no, it's never going to stop.
Tonight, I don't have any alcohol tonight. I got my cup of tea. Missed that by
You haven't
far.
been to the
'cause,
Packy?
No, I feel like I got a little tickle in my throat, which my wife, hopefully she doesn't, this will come out after the holidays, so I can try to hide it if I don't feel good, because that's never a good look. Never.
I tried to say Packy with a Boston accent, and I missed it pretty bad. That was no
Yeah,
good.
you fail.
It's only two syllables,
One
which
I
is
got,
It's
really.
it's just a packy. I don't.
There's no
I know,
R
but
in
the
there
Boston
for
accent
you
part
to.
of it, I missed it.
Most people just try
Right.
the Boston accent too hard, and that's why it doesn't land.
The
Yeah, I
packing
put the wrong
garage is
emphasis
the
on
same
the
thing
wrong
as the
syllable.
packy.
Yeah,
That's right.
you just gotta park
Yeah.
the car in Harvard Yard, grab your khakis out of your khakis, and go to the packy.
Your khakis out of your khakis.
That's not even
I like
English.
that. That's great.
We're back after 2 episodes with guests, so the pressure's on us to actually be entertaining left to our own devices. I don't know if we're actually doing a good job.
Well, Brian's mug is doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
The obligatory dad mug.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have like
Yeah.
7,000 of them. Hey, the holidays are coming up. You might get to add one to your collection this year, Hayes. Who knows?
That's true. I've got Denver Broncos and Atlanta Braves mugs, and that's the extent of it.
I get socks with my kids' pictures on them. That's the go-to in my household, and they're really cute. Like they're nice socks, and my kids are on them, so it's funny.
All right, so trying to get on subject here. So we had Mike Carroll, and then we had Sasha McKenzie, 2 guys who, and leading up to that, we'd spent time talking about our off-season plans. Then we had 2 notable experts and as far as how to train and improve your golf games. Takeaways from those episodes, fellas. What did you take away coming out of those episodes that you're going to incorporate for your prep over the next few months?
And I'll go first.
Fire away.
What I took away, especially from Mike, and I think what a lot of golfers in my position can take away, is it does not need to be complicated to add mobility and to get stronger. Now it can be as complicated as you want, and if you go the Fit for Golf route, Mike lays it all out for you. But when we talked about just basic mobility, like he's talking about deep squats and arm circles, like you don't have to go on TikTok or Instagram and find the craziest looking stretch you can find and move yourself in all these crazy positions just to add some mobility in your backswing. You just have to do basic movement. So I thought that was a really good takeaway.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's the main thing that I love about the Fit for Golf stuff is like they're regular workouts. They're not all these gimmicky things where like, hold the club in this angle and then do your squat. It's simple, it's straightforward, and it's functional beyond just golf too. I mean,
You save all your funky positional hold the club here stuff for all the training aids behind you, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
You like your workouts to be pure.
Right.
I hope that over time that just it continues to spread until it is just completely surrounding you.
So you can't see the window. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
My favorite is the downshift board.
That's your favorite?
Well, I've talked on this before. Like, I know I'm not good at using the ground, right? And that is supposed to teach you the proper pressure shifts. But my instructor, Trey, has worked his way up. Trey can take full swings with a driver at like 125 miles an hour of club head speed on the downshift board. If I did that, the board would slide out from underneath me and I would fall on my butt. So
It's basically just a snowboard, right?
it's a skateboard with like a little piece of wood in between it so it tips, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's plenty of knockoffs out there and other people trying to.
No, I got to try it because I know I know for sure I'm not using the ground the way
I feel like I use the ground pretty well, so I'd be curious to see.
You're so close to it though.
to see what
That
looks
helps.
Like. Well,
That's right.
I don't have a choice to get
He
speed.
has to use the
I
ground.
have to be
It's
efficient.
just we're never gonna. That's
but-
never gonna get old. It's yeah.
I gotta
it's
tell
fine
you.
too. I can take it.
So we're actually recording now that we've actually published our first few episodes, and my wife's immediate feedback was, "You're making too many short jokes. Are you sure Brian's okay with that?" So I wasn't going to say anything. And then there's Matt.
Well, you
No,
have
I
your wife
can- I
send
can
me a
definitely
text and
handle
then
it.
I'll feel bad about it. But
there
until
we go.
then, yeah.
By the way, Hayes, your wife sounds like a very nice lady. I like her.
She really
Yeah,
is.
she is.
You mean mine or his?
Oh, yeah.
His probably. Mine is also
probably both.
extraordinarily nice, but I just don't know that you've
all,
conversed.
all the above. Fellas, I'll tell you my takeaway, and it's golf story time. I don't know that I've ever really told the golf story on the podcast.
I'll be back in
Excited.
5 minutes.
Right.
Settle in, folks.
Gather round, my children. So if you remember, we talked to Sasha for a while about heads up putting. And I basically explained to him, like, hey, when I practice heads up versus a traditional method, I putt better, but I get like all self-conscious when it's time to take it out on the course and I can't commit to it, doesn't go well. After listening to him, and he basically kind of was like, yeah, well, you need to, hike your skirt up and get better about it. I got off that pod and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to commit. I'm doing heads up putting. So 5 days later, I had a round with 2 acquaintances / friends and a guy I'd never played with at a course I'd never seen. And I had practiced a few times doing heads up putting, and I figured, you know what? I'm a heads up putter now. This is what I'm doing. So I'm not going to tell you the full 18.
Oh, please.
Right? Yeah. It was 48 degrees, 5 miles an hour wind.
I pulled up to the course. I was nervous.
No, that is part of the story, though. I had a work meeting come up, so I didn't get any range time. I hit like 5 balls. I rolled 2 putts, and I'm going to like break out this new putting style, right? And I had no chance to do it on the course, and I got to run over to the first tee. So I'm already feeling a little. I get self-conscious, and I'm already feeling a little self-conscious that they're all going to laugh at you, Hayes, as I'm not looking at the ball when I putt. First hole, not a driver hole. I hit a great 7-wood. I leave my approach. I did not hit a good approach shot. I leave it in the right front bunker. I hold the bunker shot for a birdie. So, but I still haven't used my putter. Second hole, I gave the birdie right back. I pull one in the trees. I got to take a drop. I hit another one into a penalty. And then I ended up chipping close and a tap in for my quad. Right. But so hole number 2, still haven't hit a putter. Third hole, par 3.
And again, you're not doing
a pin
18,
hot-
right? Just
Yeah.
okay.
No,
just to
I'm
clarify.
not going to go all 18. We're going to stop at 4 holes. We're going to
I
stop
thought
at
we
4
were
holes.
talking about putting.
Right.
Concerned.
Third hole, I hit one pin high, but it didn't quite pick a target. Wind moves a little bit. I'm pin high, but I'm about 2 yards off the green. I chip it to tap in range. I tap it in with my wedge. So I'm through 3 holes and I still haven't pulled the putter out. Par 4 comes up. I'm sorry. Next hole's a par 5. I hit a very good drive. I've got 230 left and 200 of it is carry. I pull my 7 wood and I'm telling you, I hit the 7 wood of my life. I've got 20 feet pin high for an eagle. And now it's time for heads up putting. I raced that 20-footer 15 feet by the hole because I was so concerned with like the technique of heads up putting that I paid no attention to the putt itself.
Absolutely.
So then I hit a perfect speed birdie putt, but I did not get the read quite right. So I had a 3-putt tap in for par. And you would think, like mental midget that I end up, that I've accused myself of being, I would go off that green, abandon the concept, but I stuck with it. I putted really well for the rest of the round. I made 2 birdies, and I never had another 3-putt.
Oh wow!
I mean, so the takeaway from there, I am now a heads up putter. I'm going to commit to it for 2025. Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's great. That's really cool.
That is really cool.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that too, because I played what I didn't know was going to be my last round of the year the Wednesday after we talked to Sasha, and we just got an unexpected message that they were closing the course that day. Season was over, so I took a long lunch and I jumped out on the course. And
how long is that lunch?
That's a long.
As long as I wanted it to be that day. I only played 9, and there was nobody out there, so I think I was on the course for about 60 minutes.
Helen, can you hold my calls for 4 hours?
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm taking a lunch with 4 U's.
Well, yeah, that's right.
That's right.
So I decided too. I was like, well, I'm not going to get to do this outside again. I'm going to try the heads up putting, and I noticed I actually left there was one that I left criminally short, but it was like uphill and then downhill, and it's a putt I wouldn't hit well anyways. Yeah, because I'm not that good at golf. But what I did some heads up, some looking at the ball, and I was trying to focus on feel off the face, and I noticed no difference. So I think my strike was fine with heads up. It's just getting used. It feels so foreign, and I had never done it before, ever, not once in my life. And it's just like, what am I doing? This feels so weird. But my strike felt fine, so I'm going to try. I'm going to try it in 2025 as well.
Well, Sasha mentioned he has been putting heads up for 8 years, right? But he described there, like, if someone told him you have to go back to looking at the ball, it would feel completely foreign to him. So that's kind of the goal, is to commit to it so heavily over the winter months that looking at the ball feels foreign. You know what I mean? Now, granted, 4 months is probably not going to incorporate that feeling as much as 8 years, but that's the idea, like create a new norm. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I respect Sasha, so rolling around the ball upstairs in the office. He is wicked smart, like beyond wicked smart. I'd roll some putts and I would try the heads up putting, try my version of putting. I would go through kind of my whole setup, line up the ball and everything to try to see that strike location. Did it move? Did I still roll the ball like I was kind of expecting to? And I didn't find a difference between either setup. But in my setup, like when I'm preparing for a putt, I take that like one last look at the target or where I want to go, and I do like keep that in my mind as I reset and then I go. So I think I don't have a long time naturally with the way that I do it. Yeah. So maybe I don't kind of get that loss of the image.
Yeah, he said that like in his lab when he was doing his studies on heads up, like 80% putted better heads up. Mm-hmm. That would suggest, based on the math, that one of the 4 of us would not putt better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
That's some quick math. I think I pulled that off.
It's close. Almost right. We need one more
25%. But
if Sasha were here too, still with
right.
us,
there you go.
Then yes.
I find
I'm rounding
that
up a little bit
or down. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
It doesn't matter.
This bourbon is good.
There we go. Drink more of that. I find that it helps me most in my pre-round warm-up. So on the greens, I take 5 or 6 balls to the green. I putt those first 5 or 6 heads up, so that I'm just concerned about pace. I'm not concerned about line. I'm not concerned about making it. I'm just concerned about getting it to or just past the hole. And invariably, the first one goes 10 or 15 feet past. It's incredible. It's I think it's a subconscious thing that I'm nervous I'm gonna leave it short. And then after that one, everything's right in that like nice little circle. I still prefer to look back to the ball, but what I've started doing is on course, looking at the, I mean, this is sort of my routine anyway. I pick a line, I line up the ball, I line up my putter to that ball, I stare at the hole or the line, the point that I'm putting to, right? So if it's directly at the hole or if it's past or if it's short, if it's a downhill putt, I pick that spot, I lock it in, I look back and then I putt. Like there's very little gap between my last look and my actual swing. And I think that's what he said. I don't remember who the putter was that he was talking about, the guy on tour.
Aaron Baddeley.
Yeah, he doesn't technically, he's basically on his way back. He's bringing the putter back. And it really, I mean, I got to say there is something to it. I mean, I don't putt heads up during the round. In fact, the last round I had this thought because I was up against the fringe and Sasha had said, I think the only time he doesn't putt heads up is when he is up against a collar. Because he wants to ensure the strike. And I hit probably like one of top 3 putts that day. It was perfect, but like it was just one of those moments where I was like, oh yeah, this would be one where I'd really want to focus on the actual strike because it's a descending blow. I'm coming through, But I mean, that was such a fun conversation and such a fun pod. But with Mike too, it's just the idea that I think I let the idea that I need to overhaul my entire physical routine stop me from doing anything. And his just like, just do something has been very helpful. Has been like I don't need to run 3 miles and lift and do, calisthenics every day. That's not necessarily the goal. The goal is to just start small and do something. So
I did arm circles today.
I did 12 get-ups
Very
yesterday.
proud of myself.
And I was so proud of myself. I got up from bed, so that's one. I got up from my chair at least 3 times to pee. I got up from the dinner table. I sat back down, but I got up again. I mean, it was.
Are you counting all these steps?
You had me, Matt. I was just about to ask what a get-up was because you got me. You got me.
Ryan, have you not started like the 5-minute program?
No, because I went on a cruise almost immediately after that trip.
That's right. That's right.
And work has been hell.
Sorry, buddy.
5 minutes, Brian.
No, literally, there have been days where I did not have 5 minutes to myself.
Wow.
I've been on my computer until like 11 o'clock at night, and then
that's true. Actually, I've sent you some texts and not expecting a response, and I'm getting responses back like, "Oh, he's still working."
But I did a few things, and I did make it out to the range. So rather than doing a 5-minute workout, I hit 87 golf balls, and
that's
I
great.
was pretty sore after that, but it was fun, and it was nice too because it was just warm enough. It was like 48 degrees, but I was in the sun and I was in a bay, so it was like probably like 60 degrees where I was actually hitting. So that was such a nice break and stress reliever for me to go hit some golf balls.
Oh, for sure.
There is no better. I will throw the net up at the end of a long day and just be like, give me 20 minutes because I gotta go hit some shit into the net. Like I got it. Like it really is. It's incredible stress release to just smash something.
But smash it with what? That's the question, right? So we haven't really spent a lot of time. Yeah.
Very good.
Wow. I pounce them, baby. I'm getting the hang of this podcasting thing.
He's the boss for a reason.
Yes, that's true.
It's really true.
I'm not the boss. This is a very democratic process.
It's not. Don't listeners. He's lying to you.
That's right.
This is
Bring me
not
another cocktail.
Democracy.
If my arm reached in right now, like it would be so great. Somehow we're in the same space. Just
right. we couldn't actually afford the technology to do a podcast, so we're actually all in the
That's
same room. Right.
Yeah, the lines that you see are just actual like pieces of black plastic that are just,
Right.
yeah.
If you look close enough, they're not actually straight, but don't do that. Yeah.
Right, exactly. That's what they said about me
So
in high
speaking
school.
of my
It was
brilliant
very
segue that
hurtful.
you all, right.
Yeah, we did our best to ruin your segue. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
You polarized it. We haven't really talked about equipment much, right? So we talked about my bag a little. Like it's basically all PXG with a few exceptions, not the Titleist driver and 3-wood. I've already kind of talked about it. The one spot in my bag that's kind of in trouble or perpetually changing is the putter well. And that's the other takeaway from Sasha that I had is, he went, I mean, his commentary on the whole zero torque rage, I thought that was absolutely gold. And what I took away from it is it's okay to have a putter with some toe hang if you're putting well with it. You're not missing out. Maybe that will work for you. So I went back to that great putting round that I just described. That was with my even roll with 37 degrees of toe hang. I have benched the PXG Allen zero torque putter that I was kicking the tires on. So now I'm still not settled on it. I'm willing to consider. I'm sure I will consider some other putters in the future, and we can talk about that more. But what about you guys? Like, what's in trouble in your bag? Like, what's maybe
Just depends. It depends
what's
on the
got
round.
a short shelf life, right?
Yeah, right.
I don't mean trouble like you're gonna break it. I mean like trouble like I can see an upgrade coming here.
Yeah,
or maybe
I've
there's an
got,
upgrade in progress, right, Jason?
yeah. Jay, take this because this is.
Yeah.
You want me to take this?
Absolutely.
That was-
He was
Yes.
He
Okay,
was
I'll talk. I feel like
handing
I've been
it to you
talking
on
a lot,
platter.
but okay, we'll take this. So,
Yeah.
my bag, what will we say? 95% turnover this year, probably over a
Holy
bag
cow.
that last year I was happy with. But
Wow. Okay.
so top of the bag, driver 3-wood, 5-wood, Titleist GT, GT3 in the driver, GT2 in the fairway woods, Cobra Aerojet Max 7-wood, fantastic club. Not sure it will leave the bag. It honestly might be my favorite club in the bag. Brand new edition, Cobra King Tour Blacks, 5 through gap wedge. Those have been very nice. They feel fantastic. I've said a few times already, I don't know that I'll ever go back to a non-fully forged head. They're going to take some work because they are targeted at a very consistent ball strike. So that is what I've been working on so far. Wedges are Vokey SM10s. Those were also new this year, and those have been great. And then the putter is the only carryover from the year before. That's a Scotty Super Select Newport 2, which coincidentally will have more than likely a challenger in 2025.
Wow.
Okay.
The
How is
physical
the,
bag itself is also new. That I have an embarrassment of riches with golf bags. I have a Ghost GT14 cart bag, and I also have the Ghost Any Day bag.
Those are some very nice bags.
So
Yes,
big
indeed.
big overhaul for me this year.
How are the Cobras? So I know it's early days, but how are those treating you so far? I know, like other than the feel, which is probably exceptional, but
Feels fantastic. They are short currently, or shorter than what I was playing before, but that's kind of a given. I was playing the Cobra Aerojet before,
it's a big
so like the
that's a big
7-degree
difference,
loft.
right? Yeah.
I went from 26.5 degrees to 33 degrees. So yeah, significant
Wow.
difference. Significant difference.
Totally
So
different
almost
It
two
is,
clubs,
yeah.
right? Is it
Yeah.
actually two clubs or is
Yeah.
it almost? I don't know where the what would that be,
No,
the
I
9
think it
iron
is.
and the 9 iron would be close to 34 then,
I
right?
think the 9 iron is, I'd have to look it up, but the 9 iron is like a 7 iron equivalent. Yeah. So
Wow.
it's something around those lines. So it's a big change. And I mean, I'm in the limited times I had them on the course, I'm definitely seeing that I'm coming up shorter, but I think what these clubs are doing is exposing more of my flaws. You get a game improvement iron. They're going to cover that up with strong lofts. Like you can deliver the club with an early release and still, I could hit that 7 iron Aerojet. Like if I hit it well, it was going like 175, 180.
Well, and you've talked. You've got some
Wow.
lessons lined up, and I'm sure your plan
Yep.
there is you're going to scrub off some of that loft and get into a better impact position. Is part of the plan, right?
That is one of the main plans. I really I don't know how I did it, but my club path was pretty neutral this year, which is a huge plus because I used to be a monster slicer of the golf ball. I mean, like it would go further left. I'm a lefty. It'd go further left than it would straight. So, so that's been, I went from slicing the ball and then hitting a fade that sometimes was okay to hitting more of a draw than I would hit it. So I'd hit it more left to right than right to left. So that was nice. But I definitely, looking at video of my swing, I release the hands early, I leak a ton of power. My wrists flip. So when I was on the course with the King Tours, I'm sure I was adding loft, which is the last thing you want to do to an iron.
Mhm.
And it would probably explain why I hit, I hit woods better this year than I did irons. And my driver was, according to Arcos, my driver was my best club this year, which is a first ever because it never was.
Yeah.
So
And how are you getting along with the smaller profile of the King Tours versus Aero Jets?
I prefer it
Mhm.
immensely. For me, like a big iron does not inspire confidence. It feels like it's going to get stuck. It feels like I'm not going to get through the turf. So the slimmer top line of the King Tour and also the much slimmer sole has been a benefit. And I actually hit the King Tour 7-iron head to head against a P790. The head length is the same. So it's really not like a small head. I mean, they have it advertised as a 0 to 7 handicap on the Cobra site. But blade length for me with the 790 was almost the same, but with a thinner top line.
I'm just chuckling a little bit because we've established you're a giant, right? You're like 7 feet tall. So yeah, just
I'm tall.
big man, little iron.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So no, they look aesthetically, they look much better. I mean, you're not getting into a 6-iron or a 7-iron and I'm not seeing anything behind the top line, which is really nice to look at.
Yeah. You're becoming a purist, Jason.
Yes.
A purist.
We're not to blades yet, but
It's a dangerous-
we may never be.
It's dangerous, sticky. Yeah. Be careful.
What is the King
these
Tour?
are-
What is that considered? Is it considered? I know it's a forged, but
I think
is it cavity back?
it's considered but it's considered a player's club. It is a cavity back club, but it's like it's not a polymer. There's like
There's some goo in there?
an insert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a
TPU?
goo.
Is it the TPU insert?
Yeah, it's yep, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a TPU insert behind the face. So they
Don't
milled
ask
out
me what that
the back
stands
of the
for.
cavity to put in some TPU. So
There's
it's
Matt, the brains of the operation, though. I like
That's
it.
right.
Is it TPU?
That's right.
It's a
I like it.
tetra poly unit.
Don't.
Yeah,
Urethane.
I think
it might
it's
be. Yeah,
thermal
there
polyurethane or
Right.
something like
I
that.
think that's
but
what it
that's
is.
There
fine.
we go.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
So
it.
yeah, it's
Don't
not a
fact check that, please.
it's not a player's distance iron, but it's not a true player's iron. It's kind of like a Goldilocks, I think, between the two. And there's a lot. I'm a 16 handicap. We've established this at this point. I don't think anyone in that mid handicap range should be afraid of the club. I mean, it's not. I don't find it intimidating at all, and I'm not what I would consider at this point a consistently good golfer. So they've been really nice. I'm looking forward to those clubs, and that was kind of my overarching plan for 2025. These clubs and the way that they play, it's going to force me to improve, or I'm going to suck. So I have to get better.
There you go.
That's an approach I want to take. So
Yeah.
That's
well,
great.
we've
That's
talked about
exciting.
it. I mean, honestly, if you can just get in a better impact position, you're going to get those yards back and then some.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun off season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worked on some drills so far in the garage. Now I'm not linked up with a coach yet. I'm kind of saving that for the last 4 months of my off season, even though my off season started,
The second
almost
half.
4 weeks ago now. So
yeah.
so yeah, we're gonna work in phases.
Yeah.
There you go.
Brian, what about you, man? I feel like your bag, I think, is the most stable of all of us, right?
Yeah, I definitely think my bag has the most tenured clubs out of everybody here. I'm going on almost 2 full years with the Adele. Did we determine how we're supposed to say that, Hayes?
I think it's Adele. Like, I don't like that,
Yeah.
but everyone else tells me it's Adele. Doesn't make any sense to me.
The SMS Pro irons, I have those in 4-through pitching wedge, and I love the feel of them. I've tried other irons and thought about like what I would want to do, but they're very compact. The 4-iron is the same size as the pitching wedge, which I find comical because they're smaller than my. I have the MG3, the TaylorMade MG3 wedges, and they're bigger than my irons.
Nice.
But
Holy
Nice.
smokes.
but I don't feel like they're small when I go to hit them. But like they feel so pure when you make good, even like not great contact feels really good. And I've hit other irons this
Feels
year.
so good.
I've hit like the P770s. I'm just going to keep going here. I've
Yep,
hit
there you
the
go.
T200s, T150s. Like I've tried a whole bunch of clubs and I haven't been able to find anything that I was like, I'm kind of spoiled by the feel of those.
But in your long game clubs though, you've got we talked about in a previous episode. You've got like a Speed Zone 5 wood from like 2020, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
time to see other people, man. That's a long time.
And my driver, I have the Callaway Epic Max LS, which is only one season newer, I think, than the Speed Zone line. And I had a little stint with a QI 10 that I got to borrow, but you know, that one was 9 degree, and on a good day it worked well for me, but on a bad day I couldn't spin it enough to get it going. So got the Callaway back in the bag now. I did replace a Titleist hybrid. I think it was the TSI 3, and I got the Ping G430 in there now.
Okay.
And I'm actually probably going to be tweaking that because it runs a little too long. So for gapping, I got to go to the next one down the line.
Okay, so Edel irons, Cobra 5 wood, Callaway driver,
Ping
TaylorMade
hybrid,
wedges, Ping
TaylorMade
hybrid. I mean, you
wedges.
got, what is that, 6 brands in your bag?
something like that. Yeah.
What's your putter?
Again, I'm doing math in public, but always got the
Yeah,
lab.
6. That's 6. I got the lab putter in there, the DF3.
The DF3.
I
okay.
started. I had an even roll, but before had to see what all the craze was about with the line angle balance putters, and I really like the DF3. So that one I don't think is going anywhere soon. Maybe
I can't decide if that means you're like open and willing to embrace everyone, or if you just have no loyalty whatsoever.
Basically what ends up happening is like I love release season. I want to go try all like Jason. I want to go try and hit everything, but then like I end up hitting them the same.
Yeah. Well, and that's the part about release season that drives me crazy is the big companies, they make so many promises. And there's always good. Like the marketing is so good because it leads you to believe that this new technology is the game changer, right? And sometimes there are game changers, but not nearly to the tune of like every release season, like these companies would have you believe. So yeah, I mean, chances are your driver from 3 years ago is probably just as far as the driver that's coming out next year.
Yeah, the big thing that I moved on from, I had like an M5 and I had a Speed Zone driver, and the Epic Max was a big change for me because it changed like my start line. I was able to draw that driver pretty consistently.
Okay.
So like it made sense to make a change there.
Sure. But that sounds like a case of a fit more so than like game-changing technology, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like some of the things that I am looking into, like I talk about it all the time. I love the 4-iron. I think it's a great club. It's fun to hit off the tee.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Out of the fairway, I could use some more height.
Yeah.
Shocking. I know. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha.
I didn't say it.
He did that to himself, folks. He did it to himself.
I have to
You
It's
could use
4 iron
more.
taller than you. Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't stop.
I try to figure out like if moving to a different shaft in that club would achieve the results, or if I need to look at a different style of club at that spot in the bag.
But you've got you said 5 wood and a hybrid and a 4 iron? That sounds
I don't
really
have
crowded.
I don't have a 3 wood, and the 5 wood I have opened all the way up and lofted down, so it's kind of like a 4 wood.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can hit that 250 off a tee.
Okay.
And then the hybrid is just sometimes it's going like 240, and I'd prefer it to be in the like 220 range.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the four iron off the tee I can get like 205, but like out of the fairway it's not as far. So the gapping is mostly okay. It's just a shot shape preference thing that I'm kind of trying to solve.
Matt, I guess it's your turn. Tell us all about your bag.
Let's go. So top, I've got a Callaway AI Smoke Max, which is honestly, I had a PXG driver that was a Gen. I think I had the Gen 5. No, I had a Gen 5 XF, which I bought because they had a crazy sale, and I really wanted to try what they call an auto flex, not AUTO, but OTTO. It's the poor man's version of the $800 Korean hidden technology shaft, and it's basically just a really light. It's a 40-gram senior shaft, a senior flex shaft, and I've had fantastic results with that shaft. I tend not to overswing. It helps me with my tempo. It's helped me have better strikes. But that head, that AI, the Callaway Max head, has just been magic because I don't hit the middle as often as I should. And I mean, according to their press releases, it's 7 yards further all over the face, and I think that's probably
must be true
because
that was, in all fairness, that was an excellent line of drivers this year. That entire AI Smoke line was really good.
I tried the Paradigm, did not get along with it. I was very surprised that the AI Smoke version has been so. It's been a very pleasant surprise. I have a 3-wood that I found. I think I told this story. I played with some rented clubs and found a burner fast. Like, I don't know. I don't remember when it's from. 2010.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Did you find a used one online then?
I did. Yeah, I found it. It was I think $50. And that thing's a little rocket, which is great. It probably won't last forever, but.
What flex did you get though? Because you told me like the rental bag.
Also the
like
A-flex.
An A-flex, right?
I went with the same.
I
went with exactly. I bought that. Like if I could have bought it from the clubhouse, I would have. Right. It's incredible. You don't have to swing. You just kind of bring it up like this and just drop it, and then it shatters the ball. It's incredible.
You know, this is a great time for us to thank our sponsors, Denny's. You know, Matt and I are getting up there in age, and Denny's has the back of the menu reserved just for us, where Matt and I can go and discuss colonoscopies and, enjoy that senior discount at the back of the menu.
4:30 p.m. comes real early, and that early bird dinner. I mean, you can still get breakfast too, which is the great part. So, thank you, Denny's.
True story. I made breakfast for dinner tonight for the kids. We had pancakes and sausages. So
I did the same thing, Brian. Boys had eggs tonight for dinner.
Maybe you guys should sponsor the show.
Well,
right.
Maybe.
Yeah, get out of the way, Denny's.
So you took your old man club.
So realistically, I'll be dropping the 3-wood because it was more just an experiment. I have a 3-wood and a 7-wood in the Tacoma Ignis line, which are beautiful and they're really great clubs. The 3-wood is currently in a 5-wood shaft because I kind of wanted to experiment with the burner fast 3-wood. To see if there was any kind of performance difference. And then the 7-wood is very much one of my favorite clubs. It's just fun to hit. It's just fantastic. I have a set of Cali irons, which are sort of a player's distance P790 type of club. For those who aren't familiar, they're a DTC direct-to-consumer company. Been very pleased with those. I've had those a little over a year and a half, somewhere in there. And I've played my best golf with them. So I won't necessarily give them all the credit because I am the one swinging them. But they're a really solid club. And wedges, I have a 48, 52, 56, and 60, although I took the 60 out of the bag to put that other 3-wood in. Of the Indie, they're a small company out in California that I had gone down and done a fitting with, and they're a full face wedge. I've never seen spin numbers like that. They're a little bit on the bigger side. They're almost they're not a game improvement wedge. That's kind of a misnomer, but they are a large head compared to something like the MG3s or Vokeys or something. But I really love them. I'm almost at the point where I need to replace them. They're getting up to about 2 years old, and I'm kind of eager to just get some fresh grooves because they're still performing incredibly well. And then I've got a
brand new
lab.
set of wedges is a lot of fun.
Oh my God, yeah. And then I have a lab. I had a 2.1, so I played that for over 2 years, and then I just went to the DF3 this past April, and I don't see myself playing another putter other than a lab. I'm such a fan, and I had a match play event
I got to ask you
this
about
past
this
week. Yeah, go for it.
No. Tell me about the match play, and then I want to go back to talking about me.
I made 2.
Shocking.
He's not the boss, though, folks.
How long should I talk about myself before we get back to you? Just tell me.
You have 30 seconds to talk about your on-course experience. Go.
Okay, so then I was on the third green, and then I had a 25-footer, and then I made the 25-footer, and then that was for birdie, and I was very excited. Sorry. Let me slow down.
That was a good try.
That was really good.
No, I made 2 birdie putts that were outside of 20 feet, and I could feel our opponents, I could feel them deflate, come on. And then I made an 8-footer for par that won a hole. I made a 7-footer for par that won a hole. It was a really good putting day. And we won 3 and 2 on the 16th. So that's the first time I've ever won anything golf related. And I think I'm still riding high. It was pretty awesome. So.
It would have been
it's a
so
great
much
feeling.
better if you did that with heads up putting, because then you could have looked at them while you buried those 20-foot.
Yeah, looked at
birdie
them
putts,
while
just staring at.
I don't think I know the technique is pretty simple, but it's not that simple. You can't stare daggers at the guy.
Right. You can't blindfold
try.
yourself and
You could
putt.
try.
Like
That's
that's
right.
doesn't work like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Echolocation.
So-
Sorry, Hayes, did you have something you wanted to say?
I did. I
Here's the hole.
right.
Hey, it's
I want to
your
get to the
turn.
lab putters, and I'm going to get to the lab putters, but I got to share one more takeaway, and this hurts. Thank you, Brian, for asking the question of Sasho, because you talked about, if you remember, you talked about speed training, and you basically said that your max swings, like maximum effort swings, end up being not much faster or not faster than just like feeling smooth. And I got off that podcast and I looked at his video library and I was kind of paying attention to stuff. And my next speed training session, I was very intentional about like a lighter grip pressure and just feeling fast, but not swinging hard. Cause he talked about, if you remember, people can be working really hard, but if you don't get the speed out to the club, cause your torso is rotating for too long and you're working too hard, you're not going to get there. So I tried to focus on that, right? I'm not muscling things, but just being fast and smooth about it. I set 4 personal bests in that one session. And I'm in the middle of like Fit for Golf's. Yeah, I'm in the middle of Fit for Golf's. Like I'm lifting really hard. I should not be gaining speed right now. But I mean, I a bunch of PBs. Reason I bring that up relative to putters is because I'm sure I'm holding the putter pretty tight. And I'm kind of like, that's just kind of how I play. Like I'm a meathead, right? I'm probably swinging. I'm probably death gripping the grip and I'm just all kinds of torque in my stroke. Right. So the PXG Allen, it's a good putter, but the even roll is going to keep it out of the bag. But listening to you guys talk and I'm thinking about, do I need to get back to trying a fit for me lab putter and kind of taking a page out of your book and just trying to be more dead hands and letting the putter doing the work. I mean, so that's my question to both of you guys. Is it really that simple? I mean, do you really feel like you're just kind of along for the ride and the putter's doing it? Like, how different is the sensation to you versus like a more conventional putter?
Yeah. First, thank you for complimenting me twice. That was
It hurt. It really hurt.
Very
that
nice.
felt really
Yeah.
good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're short.
Again, listeners, cannot see the pain in Hayes' eyes right now, but it is there.
And I'm just glowing right now.
There is a single tear rolling slowly down his cheek.
He's gonna have another sip of scotch. It's fine.
That's right.
But yeah,
Especially
I
bourbon
really
tonight.
do. Oh, bourbon. There we go. I really do try to keep my hands out of it completely. And the DF3, like, I set it down, line it up, and it's almost just like rock your shoulders. It's not going to move. It really does feel different to me than rolling even with like my ER2, which I felt really comfortable with. Particularly the 8 to 15 foot putts. It just feels like it is going, I know it's going to go online without needing to correct it or do anything.
I think that's
And
the
Matt,
thing
you're
for
a
me, is
believer
that
as well, right? I mean,
it goes where you so I missed I had a great look at birdie. We still won the hole. It didn't really matter ultimately, but I got over the putt. I read the green. I was doing all the things. I pick a line. I set the ball down. I got over the putt. I remembered the two other people who had putted, whose putts did not break nearly as much. They were on the opposite side of the hole. I stepped back. I realigned the ball slightly with less break, hit the putt exactly on the line that I wanted to, and I missed by about a half a hole. And it made me laugh because I was like, if I had just trusted the original line and not gotten my head, but the ball goes where you line it up. I mean, it's almost uncanny. And for me, that was the difference maker, because in my previous putters, I would watch that line wobble over and over and over again. And I couldn't tell if it was me pulling or to pushing it, or if I had just read it wrong.
sure.
And then with the DF3, the number of putts that roll literally just dead line over line. For a little while, I was using a Pix ball, and the way it was lined up is that there's a graphic on either side of the ball when you line it up, like dead center, and you hit a good putt when that thing doesn't move, because it's in such a tight circle that it just, that center thing looks like it's staying in a perfect spot. And it's really hard to miss the line that you're on. You can still mishit it with pace. You can still misread the green. Obviously, it's not a magic trick, but I no longer worry about hitting my line. I just worry about pace, and it's freed up that brain space to just worry about how hard do I need to hit this, and am I on the right line in order to hit it. But yeah, if you're a professional putter and you've spent 10,000 hours putting this year, or however, I mean, they practice so much. They've learned to do this. I have a few hours every week that I get to go out and play, and it just simplifies this one aspect. And it's, how many putts are you hitting a round? On a good day, let's say 25. On a normal day, let's say 35, and on a bad day, 40. That's half your strokes. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So to be able to remove one aspect of worry is pretty incredible.
You know what we should do? We should get someone on the podcast in the next episode that can talk more about lab golf putters. I
would love that. If only we knew somebody who knew something about lab. Oh, there is a small possibility I could get Sam Hahn on the podcast.
That'd be fantastic.
That would be pretty cool.
I mean, he's pretty knowledgeable. He seems like a cool dude. All right.
Even with that crazy haircut?
I mean, I think that's part of it, right?
Don't be mad because he has hair.
Oh, right. God, when I see that hair, all I do is just daydream about like what it must be like to wake up. Just to wake up and run your hands through that. Because I don't know, listeners, you can't see, but I wear a baseball cap because I have no hair. every one of these podcasts will have a ball cap on, because otherwise it's a bald cap. That's sad but true.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But yeah, so tune in next week. We have Sam Hahn on, and I cannot wait to get into the tech, the story behind it, all of the other companies rushing out to bring their zero torque or low torque or no torque. That we got a lot to unpack.
And he's a candid, colorful guy. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to him.
I'm really excited.
That's going to be fun.
Fellas, I think we're done.
I think that does it.
All right.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
All right. Bye, y'all. Swanson, if he sticks this close, the Masters is his. Oh my God, he shanked it. I mean, it's on the, totally on the green. Didn't see you there. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Just needed two. That's how the big boys do it. Here, I'll come closer. Hope you enjoyed that. Next week, as we mentioned, we've got Sam Hahn. He's an awesome guest. I think you're going to enjoy it. As always, you can follow us on socials. BogeyBallSociety@gmail.com is our email. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. That's probably where you're watching this. Anyway, thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next week with special guest Sam Hahn. All right. See ya.
He agreed with me. That's 3 times.
That's
Rice.
3
He
compliments.
agreed with me.
Oh,
Rice.
Miracles do happen.
still short.